my gosh. Oh my gosh!
Think back, folks. It's March 3rd, 2017. Don't know what day that is? Well, guess what? I'll tell you what it is. It is the release of the Nintendo Switch. You're probably wondering, why is that such a big deal? Well, if you clicked on the video, you'd know. I don't know why you'd click on without knowing. I had a Switch. It was December, Christmas, in fact, the suspected date of Jesus' birthday, or at least the day we celebrate it. Anyway, my grandparents had gotten me one, and it came with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I was a huge fan of Mario. Don't care what game it was. Huge fan of Mario. I could be playing, Mario's Typing Adventure. I don't even care. Great game. I don't even care. Anyway, I got a Switch, and I played that thing till the Joy-Cons had so much stick drift that it might as well have just been a Fast and Furious car with as much as it was drifting. Anyway, with the announcement of the release of Nintendo's next console being the Switch 2 being about as disappointing as the Tesla Cybertruck's initial release, it has brought me to create this video of the top 10 Switch games I have played. The top 10 Switch games, guys. I don't know why I'm stuttering. Top 10 Switch games of all time, since we are now, 7 years deep in this era of the Switch. I mean, PS5 has come out, Xbox Series X and S has come out. Like, all these new consoles have released, and Nintendo's just sitting here, not like a duck, not doing anything. The reason I am disappointed, real quick, before we get into the video, the reason I'm disappointed that the next Nintendo console is going to be a Switch 2 is because if you've played the Switch at all, if you've played anything that is not a specifically Nintendo game, that's not made for the Switch or is not already a mobile game, you've noticed the graphics are absolutely terrible. I played Mortal Kombat 11 on the Switch with my cousin. It looked like I would have had better luck playing it on a actual calculator. Like, it was terrible. The graphics are horrible. Like, I can't even imagine what Hogwarts Legacy would look like. Because I have it on my PS5 and it looks amazing, but on the Switch it would absolutely look terrible. The graphics are not good, I'll just say, and I really want them to focus on either making strictly a handheld or strictly a home console. I want them to separate the two so they can focus more on functionality and how it looks more than portability and ease of use. I get it, Nintendo is more of a gimmick franchise. Like, everything they create has some sort of gimmick that goes along with it to make it different, but I really would like them to actually just focus on something fresh, new, and really good. With that being said, let's just get straight into the video. I've yapped long enough. At number 10, we have 1-2 Switch. This being a release game packaged in with multiple Switches, was already kind of putting it on the radar for me. I saw it multiple times when we were in the store, and I thought, I should get that game. And eventually, I never got it, actually. That was because no one was ever at home when I wanted to play that could play with me. My brothers didn't understand really how to play games at the time, besides very simple ones on the Wii where all there was approximately 2 buttons. I keep saying approximately, but it's really all it was. It was 2 buttons. So at the end, I never really got it. But you're probably wondering, Joe, you just said you owned every one of these games. It's not necessarily true. My buddy owned it when I lived next to him, and so I constantly went to his house, and we booted up some 1-2 Switch. And it ended up being one of my favorite games, albeit it does get eventually kind of boring, and some of the things, some of the mini games aren't as fun now that I go back and play them, because I do own the game now. Some of the mini games aren't as fun, but I do remember it being an integral part of hanging out with my friend. It was one of the best times we've ever had together, and we played it for hours. So I think while it may not be as good as it is, it may not be good as it was, it has not held up to the test of time. It still was a pretty great time back in the day, and that's why I think it deserves number 10. At number 9, we have Mario Strikers League. I have never played a ton of the Mario sports games. I remember playing Super Mario Sluggers back on the Wii when I was like 9 or 8, and that being one of my favorite Wii games of all time. So maybe that'll be a video, top 10 Wii games that I've played. Anyway, I've never been a huge fan, or I've never really played many of the Mario sports games, but my dad was a huge fan of the Mario Soccer series with Mario Strikers and all the other ones. So when Mario Strikers League got announced that it was coming to the Switch, or being even just announced as a game, he was super excited. So he immediately downloaded it and he started playing. Now, I had never seen this game before, and I decided, hey, I'm going to hop on because it's just a new experience. And it ended up being one of the most fun games I've ever played. It's just very chaotic, and you really get a feel for just having fun. It's like hopping on Nuketown in Black Ops 2 Zombies with some of your buddies. Just absolute chaos. Nothing compares to it. It is truly an experience that it was awesome, especially playing with my dad, who I don't normally play a ton of games with. At number 8, we have Mario Party Superstars. This is one that I thought was really good. I've been a huge fan of the Mario Party series, and my first Mario Party I ever played was Mario Party 8, which is still my favorite one. I think it has some of the best mini games and just best vibes. I get nostalgic whenever I play it. It's just a sense of euphoria. Anyway, going into that, I thought, it's another Mario Party game. I will look into it because it looked good. It looked really good. We had just previously come off Super Mario Party, which I thought was amazing. But we get Mario Party Superstars, and at first I think this is very generic. This doesn't seem very special. But as I played it more, I realized it wasn't about being special. It was about how much fun you had playing the game. Me and my family played it a lot. We made up our own rules all the time, like Mario Party Negative Edition, where the whole point was to lose. So you wanted to have the least stars, coins, whatever. You wanted to be in last place, which I won at a lot, or I guess in this case lost at. So take that as you will. But I think it was just one of those games that if I didn't play with my family, it would have been really boring. And one of those things you just have to play with other people. It's like Monopoly, you just can't play it by yourself. So I think in that essence, that was probably what saved that game for me. At number 7, we have Super Mario Maker 2. I know, 3 Mario games in a row, 7, 8, 9. Now, once again, this is one that I never had a ton of fun playing by myself, but I was always a huge fan of playing it with my brother. We would constantly make maps ourselves that we didn't think were possible, and somehow we would complete them. We would have one person make one, give it to the next, see if they could beat it, and once they beat it, they had to build a map that they thought we couldn't beat, and then the cycle continued. And once again, just like I said with the last one of those ones that if it was just me, I wouldn't have enjoyed it. But since I played with other people and really just kind of let my creativity kind of just go and kind of do whatever I want with it, that was probably what made that game fun. At number 6, we have Splatoon 2. Now, I really wasn't heavily into the Splatoon series for a long time. And I want to just shout out my man SMG4 because his character Maggie Spletzer, which is a main character in his SMG4 series, and eventually actually got their own show. Actually, I didn't even notice that, but this poster is her. She's Maggie Spletzer. She's the main character of that show, and is a main character in the SMG4 universe. That was what got me into Splatoon because I was like, that sounds like a cool game, and she's a cool character. So why would I not play the game? So I got the game for the Wii. And I played it, and I played it for a little bit. My brother broke it, so he still owes me for that. I'm talking to you, Landon. Anyway, played through some of Splatoon 1. I was like, this is amazing. So eventually, I bought Splatoon 2 for the Switch, and I played it again, played the campaign. I did not have an online membership then, and I still don't have one now. But there was a small point in time where I did have it as a trial, and I played online. I thought it was fun, but that's not exactly what I liked. Played the campaign for 2. And eventually went on to buy 3, and I played the campaign. And both were equally just as good. I never got the Octo expansion pack for Splatoon 2, but I imagine it's just as good. You play as an Octonarian, I believe. And really, it's just one of those games that, that was such an integral part of me playing the Switch. Just one of those games I can't imagine having not played, especially with so much hype that I believe was around it. And just, it... I don't even know how to put it. There was just something about the game that really enticed me, and it made it look really fun at the time. Number 5, we have Let's Go Pikachu. This was actually my first Pokemon game I've ever played. I am currently trying to beat Pokemon Crystal and Silver. I have one on my Game Boy Color and one I'm playing through on my Game Boy Advance. So I have 2 separate files that I'm working through. So this was my first Pokemon game. I had never played any at all because I never thought about it. I'd always stuck to Mario. It was really weird, my way of playing games. When I was over at my mom's house, I played very like not childish games because they're for everyone, but like I'd play like Mario or Pikachu, and I go to my dad's house and we would just hop on like Kino der Toten and just blast through zombies every day that we could for every hour of the day because me and my brother thought that was the best thing ever. So it's really weird, but Let's Go Pikachu was my first Pokemon game, and I thought it was awesome. It like I didn't know this at the time, but I had started watching the Indigo League series again because I thought, oh, I really like Pokemon. And this whole game brought me back to Pokemon. I now have a ton of cards and binders. It's kind of died off now just because they've gotten expensive, and I always feel like I'm behind the meta. New stuff is always releasing. I haven't even played Scarlet or Violet or watched Journeys yet, but this one just is very simple design, mega evolutions. You know, you can capture a bunch of legendary Pokemon. It's just kind of like a beginner's guide to Pokemon, or at least the very basics of it. And I know that people didn't like the capture mechanic, like with it being kind of like Pokemon Go, which actually after playing it, I got into Pokemon Go. I don't play it anymore because it just, once again, it felt like I never got anywhere. And there's always something new releasing, more challenges to do. So I stopped playing it, but Let's Go Pikachu, and I know there's Let's Go Eevee as well. But just awesome games. I really can't thank them enough. Or not even thank them, but I can't imagine where I'd be without playing them. I probably never would have gotten back into Pokemon. So yeah. Number 4, we have Splatoon 3. And I know I have Splatoon 2 on this list. You're probably thinking, oh, you have Splatoon 3 on here? Are you some kind of heathen? Or some of you at least. I know a lot of people did not like Splatoon series. I don't know. A lot of people I talked to at least didn't like it. Splatoon 3 was just as good as Splatoon 2, but better. And I probably have it up higher on the list because I was so hyped for it. I could not stop talking to my mom about it. I was like, I can't wait to play this game. I was legitimately about to crash out if I couldn't get it. I was saving all my money to buy this game, and then my mom just bought it for me, and I was so hyped. I was ready. I was ready and raring to go because it was honestly just like another continuation of one of I think, probably a top 5 game series of all time. It's honestly one of my favorite games of all time. Everything I can say about it, I've pretty much already said about Splatoon 2. Just better graphics and just a better story. I don't know. I like it just as much, and there's better game mechanics and cooler stuff to work towards. Really cool, and it's probably one of my favorite games ever. So at number 3, we have Super Mario Odyssey. Now this, honestly, since Super Mario World, I hadn't played many Mario games. Or I guess I played, what did I play? I played the new Super Mario Brothers Deluxe. Was it Deluxe? No, I think it was just the new Super Mario Brothers on my DS, which I still have, my DSi. Love that console. It's probably a top 3 console for me. Or I guess it's a handheld, so you can technically make that argument. But anyway, Mario Odyssey was amazing. It was essentially an open world Mario game, and I will say it seems like in the era of the Switch they took a lot of games that aren't normally open world and made them open world, which is I think a really smart idea because it really opens up what you can do with that game franchise, such as Mario. And so I really enjoyed the story. I liked Cappy. I liked the motion controls. It kept me occupied for hours. So just a really fun Mario game. I don't really know how else to put it. It's kind of like, it's kind of like saying Master of Puppets is a great Metallica song. Like, what else can you say about it? It is. Like, there's no denying it. At number 2 in our list, we have Pokemon Legends Arceus. I know a lot of people say Arceus. It's not Arceus. It's Arceus. I don't care if it's in the handbook. I don't care if it says Arceus in the handbook. It's Arceus. So, people get upset over that. Anyway, so this I played right after Let's Go Pikachu. I remember buying it, or actually my mom, she waited in line before GameStop, or she got to GameStop before it opened just to go grab it. I was very, very happy because this was a huge game. I saw the trailer for it and I remember thinking it looked amazing, and it is honestly one of my favorite Pokemon games of all time. It actually took me like a year to beat. Now, I know it should not have taken that long, but I also had school and other stuff going on. So I played it as much as I could, but that really, at the end of the day, wasn't much. So we never really got too far on it, but I really liked, all the new, Hisuian forms And once again, open world Pokemon was a genius idea. And I know they technically did that in Sword and Shield as well, and now Scarlet and Violet. But at the time, I didn't really know about those games. Like, I had heard of them, and I watched people play it, but it never looked really interesting to me. Especially with the film adaptation in Pokemon Journeys. But at the end of the day, Legend Arceus was just a great game. Like, it really, like, made me want to play it more. It made me... Like, I think that's one of the first games I've ever, like, beaten all the way. That I've wanted to beat all the way, actually. And do other things in, such as catching all the Spiritomb Wisps. That took a long time. But at the end of the day, I thought it was, like, really worth it. And I know there's plenty of stuff I can do now. Like, I'm not even a 10-star yet because I still need to go technically like 100% the Pokedex, which is going to take forever. But I'm not sure if I'll do that or not. Now we have some honorable mentions. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I know I said there was no Legend of Zelda games on this list because technically there's not. It's an honorable mention. But I understand that it is a great game from what I've seen. And my dad also loves Legend of Zelda. I mean, you could say Skyward Sword HD is also a honorable mention. We'll probably put it on the list because they're both great games. I've just, like I said, I've never been a huge fan of Legend of Zelda, but I acknowledge they're both great games. And also on the list for honorable mentions, Pokemon Sword and Shield. Once again, like I just was talking about them, they're great games. I just never got into them, or I never bought it and like wanted to get into it. I was more a fan of Legends Arceus, just how it looked style-wise, and I just never got into Sword and Shield. But I understand that it is a great game. Number 1 on the list, you're probably not expecting this. I don't think anyone could have seen this coming. It's like Iron Man dying in Endgame. No one saw it coming. And number 1 is Miitopia. Now you're probably like, Joe, you stupid? What kind of list is this? You led up to Miitopia? Miitopia is a great game. I don't know what you're yapping about if you say it's not a good game. I have always liked the idea of trying to make my own game. I've just had trouble because I'm not great at coding. I use Godot, but it's never gotten anywhere past me just running into glitches and then not wanting to go back and look for the error. That just takes a lot of time. But I've always wanted to make my own game, and essentially you get to do that through Miitopia. They set up events and, of course, everything else for you, but you make your own characters. You make the game your own, and everything you do in the game determines something, and it's kind of cause and effect, but you get to decide everything you do, which I think is pretty cool. And actually, I still play it to this day. I'm still trying to beat it because I just got back into it. But getting to create all my characters and all their like attributes, everything like that, was always like really cool to me. I can't put it any other way. And it's just one of those games that like I was super excited for, and everyone knew I was excited for it. And my grandma got it for me, I think, for Christmas, and I was ecstatic. I was like, I'm about to actually like cook on this game. So thank you guys for watching this video. Some of you are probably like, Joe, you're dumb, bro. You're actually the worst. Some of you might think this is a pretty decent list. I agree. If you guys have any changes you'd like to make to my list, or games that you think shouldn't be on the list or should be on the list, please let me know down in the comments below. And if you also want to see a top 10 consoles video, or a top 10, like Wii consoles, or not Wii consoles, Wii games, or something like that, let me know down in the comments below, and I'll get right on that. I hope you guys all have a great day, and I'll see you guys later.